Hello Innit fans, welcome to a different video today. I'm going to be interviewing ex-Pompey goalkeeper John Milkins. We've called this video Under the Light, because we're under the light. And please bear with me on this one because this is the first time I've done anything like this before. Hi John, bet you thought your days under the Fratton floodlight were over.
Well, I think it were, yeah, but...
So you joined us as a teenager and you won an England youth cap. How did it all start?
Well, I played for my school, which was the John Perry school. That started it. Then I went to Park School. They got picked for Dagenham schools, which was under 11s, and we won my first medal there. That was in the Chris Shield we played at Catford, I think. And then from there you get watched by scouts, and they were asked me down on a trial game. Well, it wasn't a trial game. It was because I'd already played for West Ham and Tottenham. Trained at Tottenham when I was a kid. And I came down with Martin Peters due to come, but he got picked for England schools, so he never came. He was never going to play for Pompey anyway. He was always a West Ham boy. And from there, I decided that I saw what was going on, and I felt I had a chance down here. I didn't go rate on the goalkeepers. And Norman Hugh Pritchard, who was Irish international and brilliant, was on the end of his retirement. So it was time, really, a chance, really, I felt. I came down, signed on, joined the ground staff then, which was about 15 boys, young boys, all 14, 15. And we worked on the ground, played games, played all the Navy sides, all the ships, everything. So played 2 or 3 games a week. Started in the Lads League, which was a local league with all the teams like Eastleigh Boys and things like that. I can't remember all the teams now. And then we moved up there to the South Eastern Counties League, which was under 18s, but you played all the London clubs, and it was a good league to play in actually and learn your stuff. And with that, I got picked for England youth, which I toured for about 2 or 3 years before I was 17 and I signed pro. So I had a really good time at a very young age, really. Didn't play too many times, but I was always on the subs bench and that. But goalkeepers then was Gordon West from Everton, John Montgomery from Sunderland, Brian King from Millwall. There's a few more of them, but every one of us were all played in the first team. And then I came back, and the 2 goalkeepers that we had then got injured. And Reg Fluin, who was the youth team coach, pushed me forward to play in the first team at 16, which was a bit daunting, really. The first game was against at the Fratton Park against Burnley in opening the new floodlights that they got. They weren't new really, but they were all on scaffold poles and not unlike today. Like
As you just said, I imagine there was some good stars from my granddad's era, like Jimmy Dickinson, Reg Fluin, Dougie Reid.
Dougie Reid was our groundsman when I came here. Always wore his welly boots. Reg Fluin was the first team youth team coach, and they always looked after you, and you were. Then we got a hostel where 15 boys all went into the hostel. It was good fun, that was, as much as learning football. But we did have a lot of, as I said before, a lot of games to play, and you learnt quickly, really. I played the first game, I was only 16, played in reserves, and that was a step up. I hadn't even played in the youth teams then, which was the first start. But we beat Nottingham Forest by 2-1, I think it was. And we beat Burnley and laid Ray Pointer out that day and all. We clashed on the edge of the box, and he got I don't know if it was my fist or my arm or what it was, but he got knocked out which wasn't. But then he joined us, so we weren't very good friends then.
Playing over 300 games, there must be a few good games that stick in your mind to this day.
Yeah, I mean, they do really. It's funny. I worked in Southampton, and this man came into my snooker club, and he was looking at me. I know you from somewhere, and I said, no, I don't. I live locally. I don't live locally, rather, because I lived in Emsworth. And he said, I know you from somewhere. Anyway, during the evening, he recognised me. I played at Hull, and it was one of the best games I ever played. We beat Hull 1-0 away from home. Ray Hiron scoring the goal. And he reckons I stopped everything that day. He said you could have stuck your arm out, would have saved it. But that's goalkeeping. You have your lucky days and you have your poor days. Yeah. I went to Wolves and got, I think it was 7 passes. So, but they weren't all my fault. 3 were own goals. One I'd actually saved, pushed it up, hit the bar, hit me on the back and went in the goal. So it don't always go your way,
We weren't going to mention the testimonial when that lot up the road put 7 past us, but were there any other games that you were just like, I can't wait for the final whistle to go?
Well, that testimonial game was a bad day completely. It rained all day. It was nearly going to be called off, but quite a few fans turned up. We also had so many injuries as well. We had Lenny Phillips playing for us, and he was an England international, but he must have been in his 40s, and he was the best player on the park. But that goes back a little bit because the year before we played down at Southampton, and we in a testimonial for John Sydenham, I think it was, and we beat them 4-2, and they never forgot that, and they were hammering for us on that day anyway, and it was a disaster for us and me.
So you've been in a lot of Pompey teams with plenty of fan favourites. Any funny stories you'd like to share with us?
There's so many funny stories, really. The players were quite jovial, really. We had some funny. The boss used to be very serious, and Paul Went was one of them that always wanted to pull the boss around a little bit. And he had a favourite thing of saying, the boss would say, right now, you be at Portsmouth station, 3 o'clock, and don't be late because the train goes by 20 past at the latest. And he said, because he'd get up, right, see you later. And he, boss, what time was that? And he would keep on. And yeah, I've got that now, boss, thank you. But he caught on the boss. The other thing he did as well, Paul Went, April the Fool. We all came in and said, well, the boss wants to see you, because we were this end of the Fratton, and the boss's office was the other end of the Fratton stand. So you had to walk all the way there, up the stairs, knock on his door, and say, come in, what do you want? You called for me, boss, didn't you? No. Because, get out. So we went back all down there, and then because on that way we're passing other players. They come in, he sent 2 or 3 more up there. Because the boss phoned down, don't send any more up in this office. One of the other things that went on, Dick Beattie when we had a shower, there was a hose pipe in there, and he thought it great fun. He'd get out the bath and spray everybody with cold water, and he thought it was hilarious because we were all getting, you're in the bath getting showered and everything. Then he Johnny Gordon. He said, get that bugger back. Sorry. He got that bugger back. He said he went out and he dressed up in Dick's clothes, didn't he? And Dick's still in there spraying everybody and laughing and getting that. Because Johnny opens the door to go, making out he's going to the toilet with Dick's clothes on, isn't he? Because Dick turns around, sprays him and then he suddenly realised that it was all his clothes on. He didn't like that. He didn't do it again, mind you, I must admit.
Was there any players you thought, they're playing today, like a defender, and you thought, they're playing today, this should be a good game for me?
What, on my side?
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Went, Malcolm Manley were one of the best. Colin Blant was always, when I dived out at people's feet and done things like that, he was always over the top of me, guarded me like people thought he was a bit of a kick and rush player, like, clear it anywhere. On the day, that's what he did. It's either your ball or it went in the stand. He never messed about. But when we got in the gym playing five-a-side, he was one of the best players. He could pull the ball, take people on, dribble, do loads of things, but he never did it on the football pitch.
You said Arsenal were interested in you. What happened there?
Well, they came in. They offered, I think it was about 40,000 at that time, which the club refused it, and I sat back and just, oh, that's great. Arsenal come in for me. Did nothing about it, really. Should have said I could have gone. It wasn't until Bobby Campbell was coaching one day and we were talking about it. He said, you were stupid. And I said, why is that? He said, Arsenal come in for you. He said, and you didn't go. Why? I said, well, what if you don't make it? You go all that way, leave a club and go into another one, and do you make it? And he said, doesn't matter. He said, you'd have come out, you'd have been an Arsenal player. You could have got another job anywhere, because that's what people think of. Like Pete Marinello didn't make it at Arsenal, come to Portsmouth, but he was an Arsenal player. 100,000 for him.
In total, how many managers did you have at Pompey?
Freddie Cox signed me, and then there was George Smith, and then Ron Tyndall and John Mortimer, I think it was. But I didn't get on with them two. Although Ron Tyndall was a player, I didn't get the Deacon. I got injured on the end of a season, close to a season. They had Phil Figgins here then. He was capable, not the best of keepers, but he was capable. And Deacon went out and bought two more goalkeepers. One was older than me, and one was 21, which was total eyewash, really. And then he came to me and says, "Oh, you got to go. You got to. I'm putting you on the transfer list." And I turned around blatantly and said, "I'm not going." I said, "I'll stay and fight because I can beat them two out, And the next minute, I got a phone call from Jerry Summers from Oxford. And he said, he did actually put it, I'm desperate. And I said, that's not where you phone me up and say you're desperate. And I said, he said, Roy Burton, he said, is my best goalkeeper. He said, and he's done his arm and he's going to be out for up to 6 months. He said, but I need a senior keeper. I only got a 15-year-old. When I got there, we had 5 players that were over 21. The rest of them were 18, 19. And they run. When we go running, they used to go on, weren't they? And the managers say, just run at the back and do your stuff. You know what you're doing. And it was good, really. I enjoyed my time there. And then they got in a bit of money problems. They didn't sell a couple of players they should have sold. And I said to him, well, look, I'm running the shops as well. I said, I wouldn't mind going back. They said, yeah. And I travelled. I did it for quite 6 years. But I ended up with them being the reserve team keeper, just the same, but coaching the youngsters as well while I was there. So they'd send me off with a physio, and I would run the game, run the team in there, which was quite nice. But I spent 6 years at Oxford, and you've got to be accepted, because when you got an idol like Roy Burton was, to take over from Roy is a bit of a big jump, But they didn't give me any stick at all. Well, I didn't do nothing wrong, which was good,
Was there a favourite manager you liked playing under?
Yeah, I like Jerry Summers. Well, Jerry Summers was the manager at Oxford, and I got on really well with him, and he was a good manager. He got the sack like they do, and he shouldn't have done. George Smith again, he was a bit central, sergeant major. I mean, when I got under 20 youth team cap, and when he joined the club, I was on tour somewhere out in Israel, I think. And I came back and he's go, oh, we've got our international back now, are we? And he said, right, now you can you got to the end of the season to prove that you are an international. Otherwise you won't be signing. So you knew where you stood with him. But he was blunt, and but he was a good manager, good coach.
You got player of the season in the late 60s. That must have been a proud moment for you.
It is, because it was done by the supporters. and that's the respect, the respect they do think about you. And I think I was liked by the club, which was good.
Did you ever come back from Oxford to play at Fratton Park with Oxford?
No, that was one of the unlucky things. I played Portsmouth I think twice up at Oxford on the Manor Ground, and we beat them twice. So no problem. They did have an expert telling the club what players were like. That was another thing. But I knew all their little fades and good things and bad things, which did help. But I think it was 2-1 and 3-1. I think we beat them.
What about when you came back to Fratton Park just to watch a game? What was the reception like?
It was very good. I mean, even now when they asked us to go out on the pitch, I mean, they don't read. A lot of them supporters now don't remember me. They've never even seen me before. But they give you a great reception. And even when I got out in the middle of the pitch, they all waved, they all clapping and cheering. So it was really nice.
Were there any opposing players you were scared of because they always score against you?
Yeah, Alan Woodward I think it's Alan Woodward from Sheffield. He always seemed to get a goal against me. And Don Rogers. It took me a little while. When he came in off the wing, he always come at his feet, whatever. He always seemed to get past me. Then I realised what I had to do was stick an arm up and make myself bigger. So I had a whole body width, but also my arms as well. And I did win in the end, I think. But it is. You get these players that will score against you. Yeah. Jeff Astle always seemed to bloody score. Sorry again. That's fine. He did. He was a good header of a ball. And it wasn't always a shot, it was always a header, really, in the top corner. And another player, Alex Dawson, used to play for Preston. He was another, he was big, he was like a rugby player. He was massive, he was. Bestie was the funniest one. I played against him one night. We was down at Fratton, we played Man United, and the ball came through the middle, and I came out. Bestie's on the end of it, and I've gone down at his feet and saved it. And he's tapped me on the head, said, "Good lad, well done, lad." Because like that, got up, put the ball down, and he's gone away. I knew he was going away from me, but I put the ball down to dribble it to the edge of the box, and he's come back at me. I had to dive on it again. Oh, no. He was smart. Yeah. He was one of the best players, really. And Bobby Charlton, and God, there's 1,000 of them, really.
Must have been great playing with some of them superstars like George Best.
Well, against them, I didn't play with him, but I played with Franny Lee from Man City, in the England side, Martin Peters, because funnily enough, we did play together a lot with the England youth side. So, and even Terry Venables as well. He played because Jimmy Greaves is my idol from a kid, because he was a 15-year-old and we were 11, and then you had Terry Venables was under him, so he was coming up. But Martin Peters played a year above, so he was 11. He was playing under 13s as well, yeah. And as he went up, he played for the under 14s, under 15s. But Jimmy Greaves is a terrific player. He scored 15 goals against our school one day. I wasn't in goal, thank goodness, because he was that 4 years older than me. Yeah. But when he went from schoolboy to Chelsea, the local paper, he won't score goals like that again. But he did. He's wonderful.
How would you see yourself in today's modern game? Obviously, when you played, it was Championship / second division level.
Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to play today. I don't like the players. I think they cheat. They cheat each other. They grab their shirts. We used to do things, but we didn't pull the blooming shirt off their back. If you was marking you and was going for a corner, I'd step across you. That's all you had to do. You didn't have to grab them, just step across them. Or I'd pull your shirt, let it go. Because once you pull your shirt, oh Christ, what was that? Like, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't like the way the players play. They play on carpets. I mean, you see some of the pitches that we played on. I'll tell you, the worst game I ever played was for Oxford at Cardiff. We got down there. It rained all the week. The pitch had been rolled, but the footmarks were still in the pitch. They just rolled across the top of it. It was all mud, and we had the top referee, Taylor, and what a twat he was. He come out, he goes, I don't think this can be played. Well, we'll give it a chance. And he said, if any more rain comes, he said, definitely off. Walking out of the game, it starts raining, and he don't call the game off. I stood there, I froze the whole game. It had nothing to do. We couldn't get the ball out the centre circle, being, you know, not too bad. But I'd never touched the ball. It was horrible. The 0-0 draw, and we all got soaked and freezing cold. That's the coldest I've ever been.
Final question: is there any grounds that you always love visiting? As a player,
Yeah, I didn't mind. They didn't really bother. You didn't play at Man United. You know, all the big clubs.
Yeah.
And they're all great. It was when I went to to play for Kettering. One of my players at Oxford went manager at Kettering, and he asked me would I go up and play for him. I was coming up 40 then. And I said yes, I would. But you know, I quite enjoyed it. It was frightening because it was weird. The manager gave his chat, the coach gave his chat, and then the captain gave his chat. And I've never had that before. Like, you know, you always got the manager do the talking. And he come round and in the talk, the manager said to the thing that, they get the ball back to the centre half, and he knocks it out to the winger. And this bloke was a player. He said, don't worry, boss, I'll get him. He laid him into the stand. Not just into the into the stand.
Oh, God.
He didn't half clatter him. The ball went straight to him, and he went wham, straight into him. And he was frightened. He'd come for a corner, and he came up to you, come and get this. Come and get this, and he meant it, like, you know, okay. But I enjoyed that because I was better than them, if you know what I mean. Not being big-headed, but I could help them. The centre half loved me because I could talk to him, and he never had nobody to talk to before like that. Pick up, drop off, or whatever, and he liked that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching Under the Light with me, Nolan Bishop, Pompey and Imush, and my guest, John Milkins. Well, our channel's not complete until there's the last thing we have to do. You have to come in the garden and save a penalty from me.
I'll never get up. Okay, you wait until I try and get off of here in a minute.
I'm joking. There's only one more thing left to do. 3, 2, 1.
Pompey in it.
Thank you very much, John. Thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.
That's all right.
I hope you've learned something.
Thank you.